Hello, 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 hello. How is your day going so far? That's what we want to know. All right, I'm sorry, I'm setting everything up. I'm just having you guys on while I work. If you guys want to chat, we can chat. If not, you're just going to hear me ramble on about whatever nonsense comes to my mind. You know what happened yesterday? We had a neighbor, and they she has a bunch of loquat trees, and she had us pick some loquats. If you guys don't know, this is a loquat. Uh, they're all over. Like, people have them all over California, and I noticed that nobody ever eats them. The other day, I went to a library, and they had a giant loquat tree outside, and we went with a family, and they've never they've never eaten it before. So I took my shoe off, and I threw my shoe into the tree, and a bunch of these loquats came down. You have to peel the skin, and you just eat them. It's a little sweet, a little watery, and a little tarty, a little sour. Depends on which, like, how ripe it is. So yeah, people have these trees all over, and I notice nobody eats them, or they don't know that you can eat the loquats. They look like this. Yeah, so that's I. You know what's funny is that these things exist, right? There's these fruits, and to me, they're just like regular fruits, right? But then, like, some people find them, and all of a sudden, they become superfoods. So yeah, people have these trees all over, and nobody ever eats the loquats. Now, some people get it confused with kumquats. They're not kumquats. Kumquats are more like orangey. But yeah, that's what happened yesterday, and we're gonna turn a whole bunch of them to jam. That's what we're gonna do with them, and then we're gonna eat as many as we can. So I'm setting up my screens just so I can see everything and work. And if you guys have something you want to talk about, we can talk about it. All right. Let's get some work done and stream. What is what's on everyone's mind right now? I'm kind of tired about talking about the. I'm kind of tired about talking about the trade war and the tariffs and all that jazz, because I feel like I was talking about it weeks and weeks ago, weeks and weeks and weeks ago before they were even official. I remember talking about it. So I'm actually really tired of talking about it. But if that's where you guys want to go, we can go there. If you guys have like stuff that's just on your mind you want to bring up, we can go there too. There is no bad topics, never a bad topic, because I find everything interesting, and that's just part of life, you know. It's just talking things through and just seeing how things go. Let's see what else that I was thinking about right now. Um, I know the big thing, and I think I've talked about it quite a few times now throughout the last few sessions, but it's because this is just what's on the news. Um, the more and more I think about that guy that got deported to El Salvador, the more I think about how insane that is, because they're all saying that they don't have the power to bring him back, right? My issue right now that I'm seeing with this is that because supposedly they deported him in error, right? What's what's making me very worried now is that basically they're saying it's a paperwork error, right? But then now that makes me think that that could actually happen to anybody. And then I saw on the news yesterday that the governor or the mayor of Maine or whatever wants to go to the El Salvador mega prison and check on the guy and whatnot. And when I heard that, I was thinking to myself, that sounds like a terrible idea. You're gonna go to the mega prison in El Salvador where they are basically making people disappear. He's gonna go over there and they're gonna be like, yeah, yeah, in over here, this way, and they're gonna lead him down like two hallways, make a left, make a right, another hallway, through this gate, through that door, and they're just gonna lock him in there. It sounds like a terrible idea. Hmm. The crazy thing about loquats is that they ripe in different rates. So you can get a really good one and you can get a really bad one. And the one I just ate right there was really good. The one I ate before that when I first started the stream was really bad. So because like you want it to be a little bit tart and then you want it to be just a little bit sweet. That's what you want. That's the perfect low quat ratio. But yeah, the more I think about the guy that got sent to El Salvador, the more I get worried about where that's gonna go. It sets a bad precedence because like he wasn't supposed to be deported, but he was deported, and now nobody wants to bring him back. And I'm telling you, down the road, this could be a huge problem, you know, because oh, unsupported video. Ugh. Because like if that's the case, and the courts basically told them they could not do that, you're not allowed to do that, and they just like ignored them. Like if that starts happening, what else can you ignore? You know, I think that's the issue that I'm starting. I see with this is that if you could just ignore all these court orders, right? What else can you ignore? Because now, if I'm telling you, okay, if the Supreme Court allows them to get away with this, like just ignoring them, no one's gonna respect them anymore. It's kind of like the idea that when you like, you go to prison and you kind of like have to shank or fight the first big guy you see. It's the same idea where, or when you're in prison, you get an argument and you back down. No one's gonna respect you anymore. You have to show your authority, right? So that's the other thing I feel about this. Where if they just let this slide down the road, if something like this happens again, or something more important, not saying that this guy being deported is not important, but it's not a good look that they're just letting them get away with this. That I feel like something has to happen. You know what I mean? Because you can't just ignore a whole branch of the government. Or maybe you can. Who knows? That's the other part of it. Like it's kind of like who knows? Who knows? Uh, if you allow, it just I don't know. It just sets a bad precedence. I feel like. And half the government is all about precedents, right? Laws are all about precedents. Like that's literally how laws are done. Like if you know anything about how lawyering gets done, they're like, oh, because this happened in 1955, uh, and it's a similar case, you have to rule this way, right? That's literally how a lot of laws are done. Where if one case goes this way, uh, you have to judge them equally, right? Or if as long as they're very very similar, you have to judge them equally. Well, if they let this slide down the road, if this ever happens again, where there's some paperwork error and you deport somebody, and the court tells them, "Hey, get them back," and you're like, "We can't." I'm just letting you guys know it's not a good look. Not a good look. What else is going on that we can? Sorry, I'm trying to get this done. I have a project that I'm trying to do, and trying to get it. I was saying earlier that I'm a professional button pusher, and it's very true. If you actually break down like most office type jobs, right? You're just pushing one button to push another button to push more buttons. That's literally what it is. And it's like, oh, we sit around, we talk about pushing buttons. I don't know. Oh, should I still eat it? It fell. No, no, better not. Better not. Yep, professional button pusher. That's what we're doing here today, guys. Pushing the buttons to push more buttons to get more buttons pushed. Whenever I'm just editing into you guys. And we could talk more about magnets because that's what I was talking about last night. Because literally that's all that's on my news feed. I can't escape. And I'm telling you, we're gonna get hurt more in this trade war than China is because they're ready. They can find a lot of the stuff that we do. Um, they can find an alternative. If you know what I'm trying to say, where what are our main exports, right, around to the world? Soybean. Well, you can get soybeans from other places too, not just America. What's the other big export that we send out to China? Pork, meat. Again, you can also do that somewhere else. You don't have to use American uh, food, basically. A lot of the stuff that we export out to the world, there is a equivalent, someone else that could do it too. Ugh, this one was sour. But there are a few things that China does that has no equivalent. And one of the main things is refining rare earths. Just an easy example that everyone could understand into magnets, for example. They're the only ones that are doing this right now, refining rare earths into magnets. And you're like, who the hell cares about magnets? Well, magnets are used in a whole bunch of electronics. Electric cars use magnets for their steering wheel and engine. So you need magnets for that. You need magnets for drones. Like there's all kinds of stuff that you need these magnets for. Space, all it's just high technology is run off magnets, basically. Right? And they're the only ones that refined it into, so that's not something that you can replace. All the other stuff that America does is replaceable. I mean, unless you can think of something that I'm not thinking about that America exports out that is unreplaceable. But there are quite a few things that China does that's you cannot find a competitor for. And they position themselves in this way. They've been planning this for a very, very long time. And I think that's the other thing that bothers me about this trade war is that it was done on a whim, you know, where he just like planned it out of nowhere in a way. Like not out of nowhere, but like he just he just like did it nilly willy and he changes it daily while in China, they've been planning this for a very long time. Like, the reason why they've done some of the moves that they've done is they've been prepared for this. They actually want to do this. I saw something, it said that China's been wanting to separate itself from America for a very long time, and they just haven't had the opportunity to do it. And this Trump has given them the chance to do it, to kind of move away from the dependence on America. 'Cause they depend on us for something or for our wallets, right? That's the main thing that they care about, the American consumer. But isn't that a weird thing to say though? Every time I see the media talk about the American consumer, they're like, "Oh, they need access to the American consumer." It's such a weird, like every time I hear that, it's such a weird thing because that's me. That's you. Like they're treating us like we are a product. Like I don't know if you guys heard the media talk about this at all, but it's a weird thing to say. Every time they say, "Oh, China needs access to the American consumer. They need access to American wallets. You know, we are the biggest consumer in the world." They're talking to like about us, me and you and my neighbor and your neighbors and everyone you see down the street, everyone at work, all like all the children as we're the product that America sells. No, like I was just saying that America doesn't export anything that a lot of things that people cannot find a replacement for or people want. I guess the only thing they want are our wallets. Because it seems like that's what they are all talking about. Like, oh, you need access. You're the world's factory. Well, guess what? You can. What's the point of being the world's factory if you cannot sell your goods? You need access to the American consumer. Like every time I hear that, I'm like looking around, like, wait, they're talking about me. They need me to buy stuff, but I don't want to buy anything. Like, have you guys ever seen those? I love those where I don't know. My wife does this a lot. Where let's say you do a run to CVS, right? And you're like, she's like, oh hey, can you go to CVS and you just for you to pick up this thing that's in there, right? Most guys, if you're a guy, you hear this, you can agree with me. Literally, I will walk in there. Let's say it's toothpaste. Go buy the toothpaste and leave. If she goes, she what she likes to do is she calls it the B method, where you go in the store and you make a left, right? And you go all the way to the left side of the store and you go up and down every aisle. And it drives me crazy because I don't need anything in any of those other aisles. And I'm like telling her, like, hey, I don't want to go down all these aisles. And she's like, yeah, but you never know. And I'm like, no, I do know. We're here for toothpaste. And she's like, no, we got to do the B method, right? You got to go to the left side, go up an aisle, down an aisle, up an aisle until you do all the aisles to the other side. And then you go to the checkout. And I'm like, oh, no. Can we just please go to the aisle that we need, get the thing that we need, and go? But no. So, yeah, they need access. To the consumer. That's what they want. But again, as I was saying earlier, they can find a consumer somewhere else. You see how where it's like it's not something that is like dire need for them. Uh, I mean, I saw this other video and it made a lot of sense too. Because here's the thing: I've been to China and I have family over there, and I have friends that have businesses that are intertwined over there, and they talk. uh, they communicate with China every day, right? And the sentiment that we're getting is that they're ready to go on a trade war. They're like ready, ready, ready. What I mean by that is they're willing to see this to the end. And my friend was telling me that this is just the perspective from the people that he's talked to, is that they are new money. Uh, and what he means by that is that because they are new money and they've just recently reached this level of wealth, right? And I don't know if you guys know the wealth. You think the wealth gap is bad here? You should see what the wealth gap is in China. It is insane. Because I remember one of the last few times that I was over there and I was with this friend and he was literally looking around he was showing he brought me to like this hilltop place and we looked out and he was like, you see all those people there, they make less than what I make in an hour for the year, because he's wealthy while the rest of them are worker bees, right? And it's like literally the whole area. And there's quite a few people that are like that over there. And it's not just him. Because how it works is there's factory workers, office workers, right? And it just funnels up to one guy, just like how it is here. But how it's set up there is the way that they do business is that they have lots of workers, right? Billions of people. So their companies are bigger. And they do this other thing where they just employ people just to sit around. Because when I was over there, literally half the guys' jobs was just to sit around, and it was like hydraulics company, and half the time they were just sitting around until it was time to test the hydraulics. And how they tested the hydraulics was they just got 10 or 15 people to jump on the jump on this frame and just bounce around. And that's literally what these guys did. That was their job. There is a more efficient way to do that with automation, but they don't want to do that because they want to keep employment high, right? So they just literally had these guys sit around um, and to test the hydraulics every once in a while. Now, if you took that same job over here and bring it to America, that guy who owns that factory would definitely replace that with automation, because having 15 guys sit around for no reason makes no sense, right? And that's the other thing about when they say about bringing those jobs, those factory jobs back to America. One, nobody wants those jobs, and but two, if those jobs come back to America, what do you think the factory owners are going to do? What's the first thing they're going to do? Because a lot of those jobs can actually be replaced by automation, to be completely honest. If you watch the videos, if you're on like TikTok or a lot of the social media websites, right? And because they've been in China, they've been showing the factory workers, right, inside the factories where you can order directly from them now. And if you pay attention, not to the person talking, to the person in the back, right, the workers themselves, and you really, really, really think about it, a lot of those jobs can actually be replaced by a robot or just more efficient assembly line setup. So even though those jobs came back here to America, they're all gonna they're not jobs, right? It's literally gonna be a robot doing. You could literally set up a more efficient automation system to do like 10 of those jobs at a time. Sorry, I got a cough. I'm gonna mute real quick. That's the other thing that's going on. My sinuses have been going crazy. Yeah, so that's the thing about that. I just don't like that they're talking about us like uh, we are the commodity, the American people themselves, the consumer. But if you really think about it, it doesn't make that much sense because if we are the product, we need money to buy money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just you're just in a way just moving money around, right? Because they need you to buy stuff, so then they can have money to make more stuff, to make stuff for you to buy. So it's just like an endless cycle. It and then they keep talking to us like we are the product itself. All right, I'm on my last low quad for now, and then I'm gonna go to break. I don't know. Do you guys think that this is a good idea or not? Chugga, chugga, chugga. What was it doing? Oh yeah, back to what? Back to this. Sorry, I am just like I said. I'm working, and if you guys have topics that you want to talk about, we can talk about it. If not, I'm just gonna keep on ranting about whatever comes into my head. And you know what I've heard? I've heard some people like to listen to my random talking to go to sleep. So I'm just gonna keep on rambling. Ramble, 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 ramble. Okay. What else? What else is going on? I felt that was a pretty good tangent that we went on about China. We can keep on going. Oh, Easter is coming. Are you guys ready for Easter? Are you guys doing Easter egg hunts? Easter egg hunts are getting, I don't know. Easter egg hunts are the same, getting more interesting at the same time, getting more like not as fun. Oh, what I mean by that. Um, I have a little one, if you guys know, and the kids these days are getting so fast on like they're just getting so fast on picking up eggs. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but at the same time they're getting so fast at picking up eggs that it doesn't even mean anything to them anymore. Right? Um it's like they just zoom, 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 done. And it's like, okay, that's it. Like maybe this is just the progression of every holiday. Um, you know how kind of like how Christmas over the years uh, meant something else, and now it's just morphed into present giving. And I feel like Easter has morphed into just egg hunts, decorations, and calling it a day. You know, I don't know. Like I know for me though, the most fun activity. Easter is actually one of my kids' favorite holidays, and what we do is we have an egg hiding contest. So I like to do is have her kind of like sit in a room with a timer on, like maybe it's like a 10-minute timer, a 5-minute timer, and I'll have a basket of eggs, and I will just go around the whole house hiding eggs, and then when the time's up, she has a set time. We set a timer, and she's gonna go find the eggs. And let's say she finds 10 eggs in 15 minutes, right? Then it's her turn to hide the eggs. And I hide somewhere. And then when she's ready, and then we set another timer, and we just try to see who can have the fastest time finding all the other person's eggs. That's that's her favorite activity to do during Easter. And if you have other kids coming over too, you guys do the same thing, where it's like one person at a time, or you even have a whole group of them at a time. We'll make it faster. You know, hide the eggs, time them, and or if you have two parents, boom, 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 easy. Like I said before, right now in this economy, you gotta have to find your own fun that doesn't cost any. Because you know what's crazy? These Easter egg hunts are they're getting pricey. I don't know. Yeah, like because a lot of them you have to pay to do, or sometimes they're free now. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, but the ones you have to pay for are like super expensive. Oh wait, what's going on here? Boop. I don't know. Adobe's been giving me all kinds of trouble the whole day. Trying to get this done. What else that's been popping up on my mind lately? You know, it's the other thing that's been popping up on my feed a lot are chiropractic videos. You know, the ones where they do the adjustments. But before it was literally just the adjustments, right? And then it became hottie bodies doing adjustments, and now it's morphed into hottie bodies wearing like nothing doing adjustments like that. It's an interesting uh kind of like morph, I guess, into this genre. Like I don't know, that that's a weird thing where now it's like I don't know, you guys have seen it where literally they're wearing less and less and less and less. You know, they're wearing less and less and less and less. S- next thing you know, next thing you know, it's gonna just be like it's like we're past like for the last few ones I've seen, and I'm not clicking into them. I just scroll past them and I just see because all these chiropractic adjustment videos are the same, right? It's just literally crack, 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 adjustment, right? But when I scroll past them and I see what the ladies are wearing, it's getting less and less and less, right? And we're way past bikinis and whatnot now. They're like wearing like pasties and stuff now. It's getting crazy. I don't know. I gotta fix my feed, my algorithm feed. You watch one adjustment video, and next thing you know, they're all popping up. um, and they're all different kinds of versions of it. I don't know. It's crazy, crazy, bazy. All right. Do. Okay. Okay. Ah, the thing is, I got. All right. Boom, boom. Delete. Skip. Okay. Have you guys seen any of these? Just I cannot be the only one. Okay. I'm like, I feel like I'm the only person. Have you guys seen some of these adjustment videos and noticed that they are getting skimpier and skimpier as the time goes on? I guess here's the other thing I noticed too, that there uh, there are a lot of guys, I guess, that get adjusted because it's always ladies. Maybe it's just because like people just like to see, that's just the content that like people like to see, like skimpy girls getting, and the camera angles are getting crazy. Like literally, I've seen one where it's literally right up the lady's like gooch, right? Literally like just right there, and just like you know, it it's it's wild. What a wild time. Anything for the views and likes, I guess. Because people wouldn't be making them. It wasn't doing something, you know. Do, do, do. Okay. Once this video is done downloading, I am gonna end this stream because nobody's giving me fun questions to talk about. Unless you guys do have a fun question you want me to talk about, and I'll answer it. If not, I'm gonna keep on rambling on about nonsense until I am out of nonsense for today. And I feel like I'm getting out of nonsense unless you guys give me some nonsense to talk about. Let's see, what else that was in the news that I saw? I saw some, what else that popped up? I saw some Australian top model. She, I guess, passed away after brain surgery. That's tough. Yeah, that's a tough one. I know for me, I think, did I tell this story before? I'm afraid of every time I get a shot. It's from a movie. I'm trying, it's been so long. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I watched this movie when I was little, and it's about like mountain climbers, and they get stuck inside the mountain halfway, and it's basically one of those like they're just sitting around with rations and whatnot, waiting to be rescued, that kind of scenario. But one of them, he has been in a similar situation before, and they're like looking to him as the leader because they're like, oh, you've done this before, and so you should know what's up. And he's just like giving them little hints and tips about what to do and whatnot. And then later it gets a little more dark as they start running out of supplies, and one of them is injured, right? One of the survivors is injured, and they're starting to run out of rations, and they're like thinking to themselves, hey, why are we wasting rations on this guy? He looks like wait, Bat Damon in and around Tornado. I'll do it for days. Sweet. Yeah, the ladies like that actually. And this guy, it's a survivor, and he is like, hey, we got to do something about that guy over there. He doesn't look like he's going to make it. He's not getting any better. We're wasting our water and food on him. And, I've been in this situation before. Once you start running out rations, people get crazy, right? And the things that we had to do to survive. And this is where my fear of needles came in, because I watched this movie when I was like little. The guy at some point in the night gets a syringe and he fills it with air, like, right? And he comes up to the guy, and the guy that's injured, he wakes up, he looks at him, he's like, are you gonna kill me now? Right? And then the guy's like, uh-huh. And he zoops him with the air bubble, right? Well, I guess while I'm here, I'm gonna look up, since I just finished the other day, I'm gonna look up the movie. I think Bill Paxton's in it. Is that his name? Paxton. Mount Snow Mountain Trapped movie. Vertical Limit. Vertical Limit came out in 2000. Okay, that's the movie I'm talking about right now. And so he zoops him with the air bubble, right? Like, and when I saw that, and I learned that you can get from an air bubble in a syringe, that sparked my fear of needles. From to this day, I get one of the things that bugs me is that when I start thinking about air bubbles going into your heart or whatever, oh my god, I get so squeamish about that. Thinking about if there's an air bubble going, working its way into my heart, and then you just drop. Oh my god. Isn't that the freakiest thing? Because or an aneurysm, right? Something like out of the blue that just like happens, like you had a blood clot just building in your brain, and then one day something happens, it comes loose, and then it just goes and zoop, you're done. So ah! Let me say it again for you guys. Just think about this, okay? Just think about this. You can get an air bubble somewhere from a syringe, and it goes, and then it travels, works its way. You get a shot in your arm around the shoulder, right? There was an air bubble in there. The nurse didn't do a very good job. Air bubble, air bubble. And it goes, and it's going through your veins. The blood is flowing. Your heart is pumping. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Your heart is pumping. Blood squirting, going everywhere, right? It's going from your heart to your toes. This air bubble is circulating through. And it's a pressurized system. Your heart needs to keep all the blood at a certain pressure, right, to go through. That's why they have blood pressure. The air bubble is going, and then your heart pumps out blood. At the same time, it takes blood back in, right? This air bubble is going around until it goes into your heart. Oh, and it jacks everything up, and you just drop dead. Oh my god. The thought of that. Oh, no. I'm going to end the stream now because that's just, no. I hate that feeling. All right. See you guys later. Maybe I'll do another one at night.